My thanks to Bring Me to Life Radio, and welcome to the Cinema Scribe. Taking risks can be a scary prospect, and the bigger the risk, the greater the potential peril. However, the same is true when it comes to the prospective rewards involved. Of course, it takes considerable resolve to face such conditions, but that's entirely possible, as showcased in the inspiring new period piece drama, Papicha. In the 1990s, Algeria endured a lengthy civil war, a brutal conflict that killed upwards of 150,000 and displaced countless refugees. The former French colony, which won a War of Independence in 1962, spent many years as a largely secular, westernized country. Over time, though, the North African nation began to push for a return to the Islamist roots of its predominantly Arab population. And by the end of the 20th century, powerful fundamentalist factions fought to obtain political control, eventually pitting strict Muslim traditionalists against their more liberal westernized counterparts. As the two sides vied for power, the fallout from the struggle affected virtually every aspect of daily life. As the war raged internally, fundamentalists placed extreme coercive power on their secularized counterparts to conform to traditional Islamic dictates. For some, that included implications whose impact was felt in highly personal ways, and some of the worst torment was borne by the nation's women. The greatest coercion was imposed on women who embraced the decadent and immoral ways of the West, and who openly defied the far more restrictive doctrinal conventions that were supposed to be accepted without question. The euphemistically characterized requirement that women dress and carry themselves modestly was, in fact, an orchestrated effort to place them under the thumb of a male-dominated power structure that treated them like property. And those seeking to assert control often did whatever they believed was necessary to make this possible, employing the services of both male and female followers. Yet, for all the strong-arm tactics inflicted upon the women of Algeria, there were those who would have none of it, despite the dangers involved in openly resisting such efforts. That's where the Papicha segment of society came into play. Papicha is an Algerian term used to describe an intelligent, confident, liberated, often stylish and attractive woman. For all practical purposes, one could consider Papichas the feminists of this North African nation, and that is how many have typically viewed themselves. However, during the Civil War, fundamentalists often used the term in a less flattering way, almost on par with harlot or whore. Nevertheless, many women who saw themselves in the more traditional sense of the term tended to let the derogatory label slide off their backs, taking pride in their self-assurance and courageously asserting themselves in their convictions. That kind of stride and confidence characterizes the young women in this story, nearly all of them students at an all-female university in Algiers, the nation's capital. The most outspoken among them is Nejma, played by Lina Kudri, a budding fashion designer who comes up with stylish creations for women who frequent the city's nightclubs. Working with her friend Wasila, played by Shireen Boutella, Nejma's underground dressmaking operation grows popular and develops quite a reputation. However, carrying out this venture has more than its share of risks. Getting to the clubs is often an ordeal in itself. Nejma and Wasila must disguise themselves in traditional garb, and their rides to the night spots frequently take them through military checkpoints. Then there's the matter of even being able to leave the university premises. To gain access to the outside world after dark, Nejma must pay off the college's seedy gatekeeper, Mokhtar, played by Samir al-Hakim, to keep him from talking. He keeps raising his fee, too, even suggesting that it can be paid with more than just money. And, of course, there are probing questions from fabric suppliers who wonder what Nejma needs with all the bright and fancy cloth she buys, materials that she couldn't possibly be using to sew the traditional black hijabs worn by compliant Muslim women. Still, Nejma believes in what she's doing, not only for the fulfillment she gets from designing her creations, but also for the personally defined statement she makes through her efforts. Najma differs from her classmates in that she's determined to stay in Algeria. While many of the others are looking to immigrate elsewhere, she wants to continue living in the homeland she loves. And even though she's under considerable pressure to conform, she'll have none of that. She's rather militant about the imposition of fundamentalist rule, unabashedly engaging in such acts as vandalizing publicly plastered posters compelling women to don hijabs, the proper garb for outside the home. Such notices even go so far as to detail how women should wear them. Najma also willingly participates in shouting matches with fundamentalist women when they try to tell others, including male university professors, how to behave. And she even refuses to ingest the dining hall food that has been dosed with dangerously high levels of the epileptic sedative potassium bromide, a deliberate effort to reduce so-called female urges. Under these circumstances, Najma has much to contend with, but she still manages to find the time to work on her designs. On a visit to see her mother and sister, she becomes captivated with the design possibilities for creating hakes, a traditional Algerian garment crafted from a single large rectangular swath of fabric whose distinctive qualities are crafted using different forms of folds and draping. Unlike hijabs, whose intent is to promote modesty and conformity, hakes are designed to celebrate beauty, a form of clothing that flatters rather than degrades women. Clearly, Najma lives her personal power, but her confidence in that power is tested when she experiences a family tragedy, one so severe that it nearly saps all of her resolve. However, rather than be deterred, she redoubles her efforts and makes an important decision. She vows to stage a runway-style fashion show of her designs, all of which are different styles of hakes, with her friends and classmates serving as models. In essence, she seeks to make a fashion statement that makes a statement in itself. Thus begins Najma's campaign to put on her show. But as her plans unfold, they nearly derail as she's met with constant setbacks, challenges that push her to the limit of her ability to carry on. Nevertheless, given how far she's come thus far, there's no stopping the Papicha from living up to her reputation and showing the world just what she can do. Accomplishments like those tackled by Najma and her peers are truly inspiring, especially under the prevailing conditions. While others back away out of intimidation, Najma moves forward because she believes in what she set out to do. Such is what happens when we set our minds to our objectives. In taking on such a task, Najma galvanizes herself in her intents. Not always easy, given the constant threat of insurgents, who often launch surprise assaults. To do that, though, Najma must conquer her fears and seek to live heroically, for nothing is gained without the willingness to move forward with confident, unshackled conviction. This is true not only in confronting the terrorists and their shrill female collaborators, but also in dealing with the many chauvinists and misogynists in her life, such as the shady product suppliers and, of course, the oily college gatekeeper. Fortunately, the strength of Najma's beliefs, as well as the faith she places in them, allows her to address these obstacles. What may help Najma the most, however, is her belief in making a statement through her creations. Designers nearly always seek to do that when it comes to their clothes, though primarily from an aesthetic standpoint. In Najma's case, though, she seeks to come up with designs intended to go beyond mere appearances. She wants her fashion statement to make a statement of its own. By designing a line of clothes consisting entirely of hakes, garments whose inherent intent has always been to accentuate feminine beauty, she bucks the trend that fundamentalists seek to impose on Algerian women by forcing them to wear hijabs, outfits purposely aimed at making them subservient. This symbolic protest is important in light of the power that symbols have in influencing the minds of others. And at a time when women were being systematically denigrated, Najma's creations provide a powerful backlash against such attempts at organized tyranny. Papicha offers viewers an engaging tale about a conflict that's received little cinematic attention, told from a unique narrative perspective. This fact-based dramatic feature film debut from director Mounia Medour based in large part on the filmmaker's own experiences living in Algeria during the Civil War, tells a compelling and moving story, one whose message is a fiery and inspiring manifesto for women whose rights and very being are under attack by those seeking to subvert the innate individuality that is their birthright. While some elements of the story seem a bit forced, largely due to the lack of a sufficient backstory, the film nevertheless raises a variety of intriguing thematic issues using an unlikely but highly inventive form of symbolism, a truly pleasant surprise that emerges from a cinematically innovative premise. Although Papicha is just now coming into general release, available through first-run online streaming, the picture has been on the film festival circuit for some time and has earned its share of recognition, including a nomination in the Un Certain Regard competition at the 2019 Cannes Film Festival. Standing our ground in the face of oppression requires tremendous courage, conviction, and fortitude. Indeed, when our persecutors line up before us, the potential always exists that we may be shaken to our core. But that needn't be the case if we genuinely believe in ourselves. And if we do it right, like Nejma, we just might make a statement in the process. I'm Brent Marchant, the Cinema Scribe. Thanks for listening.
A lifelong movie fan and longtime student of metaphysics, Cinema Scribe Brent Marchant is the award-winning author of Get the Picture. Conscious Creation Goes to the Movies, Consciously Created Cinema, The Movie Lover's Guide to the Law of Attraction, and Third Reel Conscious Creation Goes Back to the Movies, all of which provide reader-friendly looks at how the practice of conscious creation, also known as the Law of Attraction, is illustrated through film. Brett maintains an ongoing blog about metaphysical cinema and other self-empowerment topics through his website, www.brentmarchant.com. He's also the movie correspondent for the Good Radio Network and New Consciousness Review magazine and radio, with additional writing contributions to Smart Women's Empowerment, The Happy Guide, Library Journal, BeliefNet, Vivid Life, New Age News, and Master Heart magazine. Brett holds a BA in magazine journalism and history from Syracuse University. Again, check him out at www.brentmarchant.com.